Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Poke Rage channel. It's 2024 now, but in 2023 we saw some big changes to Pokemon. First off, we actually got the new generation of Scarlet and Violet, which has kind of had some mixed reviews in terms of like character design. The game itself had some glitches, but you know, they're still pumping out DLC and people are still playing it, so that's not that big of a deal. We also saw some changes to the Pokemon TCG. The cards are now silver bordered. There are no more non-holo rares, and my personal favorite, they got rid of rainbow rares, which I never was a fan of anyway. I just don't think they added much to the cards themselves, but that could just be me. And finally, and probably one might argue the biggest change, is we saw Ash finally become Pokemon champion. After watching that show as a kid and finally seeing him win was pretty awesome in my eyes. I mean, it was a pretty epic battle, but you know, have all the Pokemon come together from his past to help Pikachu defeat Charizard was pretty sick to see. But why am I saying this? As I said, there were some changes to the cards themselves, and honestly, I think they've definitely gone in the right direction when it comes to artwork. I think they're putting in more effort with the art rares. Sure, we had some awesome trainer gallery cards, you know, in Silver Tempest and Crown Zenith, but I think that they're really trying to help distinguish between the two sets, right? You either got the base set and then the art gallery set, and honestly, the art gallery set is really what you want. Sure, some of them suck, but ones that come out, they really do pop out and they really do catch your attention. I'm here to discuss my top cards from the 2023 Pokemon trading card game, and hopefully you guys agree with me. If not, let me know down below what your top cards are, and maybe we'll agree on some stuff. So starting off for me is probably the cheapest out of all of these is the Gloom art rare from Obsidian Flames. Now, you would think that this would be part of the 151 era cards, but it's not. In fact, how did it go out in Japan? It was 151, then Rulers of the Black Flame, then Obsidian Flames, and then we got the English version of 151. So it kind of makes sense that it came out around that time, but in all honesty, this is my favorite card out of Obsidian Flames. It may not be the most expensive, but really the colors are all there. I think with having the Weedles in the bottom right corner, the colors make the Gloom pop. I think they put more effort into this than they did with the Charizard SAR. Sure, the Charizard SAR is, you know, neat to have, but again, this is my favorite out of Obsidian Flames. Another cheap card that I think is really good looking is the Vanillish from Paradox Rift. It reminds me of the Mew from 151, but it's just like a very cartoony but like very innocent looking card. I'm loving the blues in this. I love how like the kids are at the ice cream shop kind of just chilling. But it just like it has a very calming sense to me. I don't know, blue is my favorite color, so when I see this card I'm just like, ah, this is really nice. So that's why it's number 2 on my list. Number 3 on my list is another card from Paradox Rift, and that's going to be the Mela Full Art Trainer, or like the Secret Art Rare Trainer, or whatever you want to call it. You know, they come up with different names every time. But I'm kind of just loving the watercolor design on this card, and I didn't even notice, like kind of glance over it, you miss it. The Torkoal in the left hand corner of it's pretty neat, just kind of chilling with Mela. I don't know. It's one of my favorite trainer cards next to Parasol Lady, but I'm going to take the Mela over Parasol Lady in this one. Now, number 4 on my list is something that I'm sure if you guys watch my videos, you know how I feel about Paldea Evolved. You know, I know there's a lot of fans out there, but for me, it's just probably my least favorite set out of the whole Scarlet and Violet era. But I do like this one card from it, and that is going to be the Chiu special illustration rare from Paldea Evolved. I think it's just done well with the light coming down from the top of the water, kind of showing down. You know, you can see, you know, the seaweed on the kind of like the outline of the card. But it's just, I love the colors. The orange is, again, another very like calming effect. And it's a water Pokemon. Even though it's a fire type, it's still like one of my favorite to see. Number 5 on my list, and I'm kind of surprised we're just getting into 151 right now. I mean, I'm sure some of you were thinking, oh, this whole list is going to be 151, but it's not. But it's going to be probably the most majestic card out of that entire set, and that's going to be the Dragonair art rare. You can tell they put a lot of detail into this and a lot of hard work, because it's just like the way the water is drawn and the way the Dragonair is just kind of flowing underneath. It's just a really nice card to look at, and that's really all I can say about it. Number 6 on my list comes from the Scarlet and Violet base set, and it's one of the legendaries, and it's going to be the Miraidon EX card, special illustration rare. I'm just loving the perspective on this, like kind of looking out the window, but you can see that Miraidon's kind of flying through. It kind of reminds me of like the promo card from the Pokemon Center, where you can see he's like above the cityscape or whatever, where on this one he's like in the cityscape kind of flying by, and as he's flying by you can see he's looking at the dash button in the living room or whatever you want to call it. But again, there's a lot of detail in this card. Just the coloring is done really well. The purples and the yellows really help make the Miraidon pop out, I think. But you can tell that the artist really wanted to like give the legendary Pokemon a nice card to look at, because in all honesty, I'm not a fan of the Miraidon in the jungle. I'm not really a jungle theme kind of person, so this one is pretty cool in my eyes. Number 7 on my list is, you know, probably one of the most popular, if not the most popular Pokemon ever, and that's going to be the Pikachu art rare from 151. It's not so much the Pikachu itself, but the environment that's created around the Pikachu. Sure, you got Pikachu running through the crosswalk. The shadows look done really well, considering, you know, they're kind of like covering some Pokemon, so you might miss some Pokemon. So you got Pidgey in there, you got Slowpoke, you got Psyduck, you got Gengar, you got Growlithe, you got Jigglypuff. And that's probably what my favorite part about this card is that there's not just Pikachu. There's many other Pokemon in there that you might miss. And I think having more Pokemon in an art rare card makes that card so much better than just having one single thing on there, especially if the Pokemon is very small and you can't see it. And I'm looking at you, Iron Jugulus. Number 8 is kind of a cheat because it's not just one single Pokemon, it's more like 3. And that's going to be the art set for the Ralts, Kirlia, and the Gardevoir from Scarlet and Violet base set. Gardevoir is one of my favorite Pokemon, and to have just a story card makes it so much better. Like here you can see Ralts kind of just starting off here with the trainer, and Kirlia, they're getting older, they have the baby, and Gardevoir, she becomes a grandmother. I don't know how long these Pokemon live for, but apparently they live a lot longer than humans because this thing's going to be around forever. I mean, obviously you can't tell the age of a Pokemon, but even as the story goes on, I feel like more detail is added to the card each time. Like, sure, there's just like an empty living room, right? They're just starting off their lives, then they have the baby, so there's more stuff. And then the third one, it's like a full-fledged household. Like their house finally became a home, their family's there, and Gardevoir's there. So this is why I love this card, and I love this whole art set. Number 9 on my list is another art set, but this time it's not so much the detail, but just kind of like the subtleties of it, and that's the Gimmighoul and Gholdengo art rares from Paradox Rift. As I said, there's not a lot of detail, but I just think it's kind of cool that, you know, you look at the Gimmighoul, he's in the treasure chest, and you might not notice that Gholdengo is standing behind him with the harness, and then obviously the Gholdengo, you look at him and you got Mayor McCheese, he's string cheese. Everyone thinks he looks like string cheese. But if you put these two cards together, I think the picture comes out a lot better. I mean, obviously the Gholdengo is not much, but to have them together, I think really makes them work well. And last but not least, my favorite card from last year would have to be the Blastoise SIR from 151. The whole Squirtle line is my favorite, but because all of these cards are under 50 bucks, all of them would cost more. Again, the amount that the art rares are going for 151 is kind of crazy to me. So the fact that I was able to pull this card out of a pack was unbelievable. Like as the Squirtle line goes on, he's like starts off on the beach, then he's in deeper in the water, then he's even deeper in the water as Blastoise. So it just kind of shows that he's growing up. But I just think that the Blastoise looks best out of all of them. The Charizard is too small. The Venusaur is a very close second. I will give it that. I just love the colors on it. But I just think that the Blastoise looks more serious-like almost. Like it's a more adult-drawn cartoon. If that makes any sense. I don't know. Again, I'm a sucker for blue and water type. So when I see this card, I'm like, yes, that's the card to have. Alright, well that's going to be it for me, guys. You know, let me know down below if you guys agree with this list. I'm sure there's going to be so many different opinions on this, but I just want to share with you my top cards from 2023 for under 50 bucks. And hopefully you can grab them before they start going back up, because I'm sure years down the line they will go up and you might regret not picking them up now. So anyway, that's going to be it. Make sure to like the video, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.